Does it feel like a chore creating content for social media and it's frustrating the hell out of you? In this session called How to Create 47 Pieces of Content from One Signature Video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a really simple way. This is the kind of strategy and system that you can outsource to a VA, that you can outsource to another member of your team, just like I do. I create one long form piece of content, I pass it to my team, and within 2 hours they've created 47 pieces of content ready to publish in the socials. If you did this every week, you'd be having 2,500 pieces of content by the end of the year. If you want to learn exactly how I do this, I'm going to show you in this exclusive session with BigView. Click the link around this video to go and register for that session. I'll see you there.
Hey, Big View crew, welcome to another educational session. Let your clients see you be you with Big View. Wouldn't it be great if you could take $1, £1, €1, or whatever your currency is, and multiply it by 5,000% with little to no effort? If that was possible, I'd be super wealthy and rolling up to the show in a Bentley limo. Well, guess what, people? Today we're gonna make you rich, content rich. And that by content rich, I mean content rich. And content rich can make you IRL rich. Today, we're talking about how to create more than 47 pieces of content with just one video. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, listen, our guest expert today will show you how to make your content life easy. But before we get to our guest expert today, in case you forgot, I'm your host for this episode, Robert Kennedy III. RK3, that's me. I'm the president for Kinetic Communications, a training company in Laurel, Maryland, where we work with real estate professionals and small business owners who want to communicate more confidently, both in person and on video, so that they can improve client connection and increase sales. Coming up soon, we've got a session called Public Speaking for Real Estate Professionals Mastermind, how you can use public speaking and storytelling to explode your business and sales opportunities. To learn more, head on over to getintouchwithrk3.com and sign up there. And now you know about me. Who are you? OMG. Let's see who is in the chat, who is in the audience today. Who do we have? Who do we have? Come on, people. Just put your name here in the comment. Let's see who you are. All right. It's taking a little bit of time to come up, but you know what? I'll call out some names in just a little bit. Do me a favor. While we're going through the show today, if you've got a question, type the letter Q before your question, and then share after that. Q and then the letter Q and then your questions. All right. Good deal. So before we jump in today, this session is going to be awesome. And I just want to share with you who our guest expert is. Matt Hughes is the king of video. In 2013, Matt started a video company that he ran for 7 years, creating video, traveling the world with a camera, and with clients from one-man bands to billion-dollar companies. Fast forward to 2019, he created the King of Video brand to help small business owners confidently create consistent video content that connects with their audience. And then in 2021, smack dab in the middle of a worldwide pandemic, Matt turned his focus to YouTube and has the goal of getting 1,000 small businesses to the 1,000 subscriber benchmark, using YouTube as the primary platform to grow their businesses and make more money by strategically creating video content. All right, so my comments have come up a little bit. All right, Dwayne Fuller, good to see you. Virtual support, good to see you. Carlos Villanueva, good to see you. Beverly Allen, oh my gosh, you are here. Amit Ghosh, good to see you. Edith Thelman, yes, so glad that you're here. Eric Couturier coaching. All right, let's see who else do we have in the place. Lisa Gold, so glad that you're here from outside the box. I like it. Gonzalo Bazalar, Terapia. All right, love it. Occupational and sensory support. Love it. So we have a lot of people here. All right, we're so glad that y'all are here. Buckle up and get ready for the ride, Big View crew. Matt, welcome to the stage, my friend. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, everyone.
Nice to see you here again, Robert. It seems a while since we last did this. If you, those of you that don't know, we did a YouTube session not too long ago.
Yeah. It was phenomenal, fabulous. I was trying to mix those two words together in my brain, and it was coming out at the same time. All right. And what I love, y'all, Matthew is the king of video. Where's your crown, dude? Where's your crown? You got to wear a crown.
This one just behind me there. You can see it. You know what? I did some branding photos, and my branding photographer, she brought a crown with her, and I was like, "Oh, that's so stupid." And I was like, "But I'm going to wear it anyway." So
I mean, you came up with the name, dude.
Yeah. Well, the domain name was available. That's where it came from, and so I was like, "Well, I'm just going to own it." You know, most kings steal their titles anyway, so why not?
All right. Love it. Awesome. So we are going to have a phenomenal session today. Do me a favor, y'all. Stay around with us until the end. Matthew's going to be sharing some fantastic information, going to be doing a giveaway so that you can up level your video game and unleash your creative superhero. All right. So let's jump on in, my friend. We've got some fantastic information to share today. And I guess the most obvious one is, OMG, dude, how on earth do we create all this content from one video? Okay, before you dive into that, why is that even important in the first place?
I think there used to be an idea that what you needed to put out in the world was quality over quantity, and that is still true, right? Quality content is still really, really important. But what if you could combine the two? I think that's where you can get true virality across all the socials. And I think when you see this strategy of doing this, it's so simple that you may as well do it. And if you did it every week, you end up with 2,500 pieces of content by the end of the year. So, you know, if you're sitting there struggling, thinking about content and, you know, how can I keep on top of the content like a lot of my peers do, then you're absolutely going to love this.
Love it. So that sounds like a big number, 2,500 pieces of content. Do I need all of that content? You know, can I just do like 500 and then repeat them?
I mean, you could repeat some of these things anyway. You know, when we're publishing this content, we want to see what's working and repeat that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's about the social media game is about attention, right? So you need to be top of people's mind when they're thinking about your product and service. So if you can be relentless with this content using this system that I've got, then you're going to be top of mind. It's not necessarily that you need to be the best at what you do, but you need to be top of mind. And if you've ever looked at, you know, a competitor or anyone like that and thought, how are they getting so much business and I'm not, and I'm definitely better than them, it's probably just because they're more visible on the socials and you're missing out on that.
Love it. All right, cool. Well, listen, let's jump on in and see what you've got for us today. We've got quite a few people that are joining us. Queen Babuzi from UK. All right. Hey, how you doing? Michelle Brigman. How you doing? Mr. G in NYC. Love it. All right. Cole Hutchinson from Canada. Glad you're here. Jace from AOTB. I'm not sure where AOTB is. Is that like America Online? Yeah, I don't know. Terrific, beautiful. I don't know. All right, I'm making stuff up. All right. So glad that you all are here. Again, if you've got questions, do just like what Amit Ghosh has done and type the letter Q and then your question after that. Okay. Type the letter Q and put your question after that. We'll do some Q&A a little bit later on. And there are times where we'll pause for grabbing a question or two. All right. So Matt, you've got something to share with us. Let's go. Let's dive in, my friend.
Excellent. So this is how to create 47 plus pieces of content from one video. Of course, you'll see in the presentation why it says 47 plus, because it's not an exact number and it depends on your strategy with the content that you're creating. So we'll get into that as well. Throughout this presentation, you'll see the QR code so you can grab my guide for this presentation. So you don't necessarily need to take notes. You can if you want to, of course, but there's a free guide you can grab and it'll give you all the information that's in this presentation as well. Although I had a wonderful introduction from Robert, that's exactly true what he said. The King of Video title is, as I mentioned, because I got the domain name, but actually I ran a video company for 7 years. I had a small team and we traveled the world. We traveled to the US a lot, around Europe. and we created over 1,500 commercial videos during that 7-year period. So I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to video. I have had a long time in that video game now. Moving on to being a YouTube mentor was just a nice way to take all of that knowledge and start helping businesses do a lot of the video stuff themselves, because I saw that video is becoming a bit more of a commodity. You could go and get a 4K video on your mobile phone now. So why would you not want to do it for your business? And that's why I help people in that way. I'm also a dad, a husband, a geek, a rebel, and unapologetically me. And I encourage everybody else to be their full unapologetic self. Now, the first question I've got for you guys, this is an interactive session. I've got a few questions for you throughout. But how much video content are you producing right now? That's what I'd love to know. Now, and I'll just fill for a little bit whilst that question gets out on the socials, because I know there's a bit of a delay. When I ask this question normally in the audiences that I have, I usually get something between 0 and 1 video per week. So if I was to ask you per week how much, it's usually like 0 and 1 video per week. And there's a number of reasons why that might be. It might be because you're not confident. It might be because you don't have a strategy. There's loads of different reasons. But I want you to understand that if you just had a strategy of creating one full signature video, which I'm going to talk about in a second, then you can still be relentless on the socials, right? So you don't have to be creating a video every single day. You can still be relentless on the socials using this strategy. There you go, 0, 0, 1 a week, 2 videos a week. Right, perfect. So you're in the right place, really. During this presentation, I'm going to talk about these 9 types of content. I'm not going to stay on this slide too long, but if there's anything on here that you don't understand, I will explain every single one of the things that is mentioned on this slide, and then you'll see I'll summarize at the end how we got to 47 pieces of content. So the first thing you need more than anything else is a signature video. I call this a signature video, just like Amy Porterfield calls courses signature courses, because I believe every long form piece of content that you create should be a signature video, a digital asset that you are proud of, that you can send people to, that is your best piece of work. As it says at the bottom there, the best quality possible. That doesn't mean that you need to have an excuse that you've got to upgrade your camera or your microphone or your lighting or anything like that. You can create a signature video with the best quality possible using just your mobile phone. Okay, this is a long form piece of content. This should be somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes is a good amount of time. Of course, if you've got a podcast, it might be an hour. You might be able to wax lyrical for an hour anyway as part of your signature videos. But I think if we're talking about some of the other content assets that we're creating, 15 minutes is a good amount of time to get a bunch of the other assets that I'll talk about later on as well. Now, this signature video, obviously you saw that I was a YouTube mentor. This signature video should be the video that you put on YouTube. Your YouTube channel should be an asset library, a bit like your own personal Netflix channel. And when you're creating these signature videos, a question I get asked a lot is, can I script those videos? Of course, you're here on the Big View channel. You know that Big View does the scripts really well. It's the thing that really made the product stand out. One of the things I really like is that on a desktop, you can have a script that takes its time, and you can use the eye feature where it makes it so if you're looking at your script, your eyes stay centered to the screen, so it looks like you're looking down the camera. There's some great features there that really help when it comes to creating this signature video. So I wanted just to call that out as a sort of homage to the channel that we're on at the moment. Now, you might have seen PSL on the slide right at the start there. PSL is what we call portrait, square, and landscape. So I'm going to say PSL quite often, and from this moment onwards, I will still say PSL, but just know that it means portrait, square, and landscape. The reason why I say PSL is because we are creating the different types of assets depending on the platform that we're going to put it on. So we know that YouTube, we want to put it as a landscape video. We know that on TikTok, we'd want to have a portrait video. And then Square is one of those formats that kind of works on all platforms, regardless of what platform it is. Michelle's saying, would that be a sizzle reel to showcase what you do or something else? Michelle, a sizzle reel is more of a one-time thing that you would do as a promo, as a showcase video, right? That's what we used to do in my video company. When I'm talking about signature videos, and the reason why I've got a number 3 is because we do it portrait, square, and landscape. Signature videos are digital assets that you're going to create every week. So, for example, if you was in real estate, Robert mentioned he's doing something about real estate later on. If you was in real estate, you might go round to different houses and do like a showcase of the house. So that could be your weekly video. Or maybe you walk around a neighborhood and you give like news of what's going on in the neighborhood. A friend of mine used to do this in our local area. He was a real estate guy, and he got known for these like 10-15 minute sort of overviews of what property was hot, what was selling, what the rent prices were, you know, all of these things that were really good for that specific industry. And there's something like that for your industry. Whatever industry you're in, don't think you can't create these signature videos. If I'm a coach, I'm creating videos where I'm helping people. Robert, we were talking about a thing about Monday motivation, right? There's things like that you can do where they're regular episodic content that you might want to create. If I'm a video coach, I might do things like this Restream video you can see here. We're streaming with Restream at the moment. And this is a beginner's guide. So it's a long piece of content I've got which goes into Restream and how to use Restream, right? That's the thumbnail that you can see on the screen at the moment. So it's not necessarily a sizzle reel, but it's more of like a continuation of content that you would produce every single week. So we talked about PSL. So if you think already, we've got our signature video. We've changed it into 3 different sizes, just like you can see. It never gets any less weird seeing 3 versions of my face on the screen. But we've got these 3 signature videos in the 3 different formats, as you can see here. You'll notice that the landscape version, the portrait version, I'm a little bit closer in the portrait version. And that's because of how far I am away when I'm filming. When you're doing this stuff and you're creating this content, you learn that actually, if I want to crop in and reuse this content and repurpose it, then I probably need to step back a little bit when I'm filming. So they've got a better opportunity to crop in without it being super close up in the way that you're seeing on the screen. So that's 3 pieces of content. The second thing I wanted to point out with your signature video is captions. Yes, we know Big View does captions. There's plenty of tools now that do captions. And we're talking about burnt-in captions here, right? This is what I mean by burnt-in captions is, you know, on the social platforms, they do auto-generated captions. You've probably seen these on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Whenever you turn the sound off, the auto captions will come on the screen and you will be able to see them on there. That's not what this is that you're looking at right now. These captions are burnt in, so they're part of the video. And the reason why you'd have 3 with the burnt-in captions and 3 without is there's different use cases, different opportunities where you would use a video without the burnt-in captions, and other cases where you'd want to keep it in the video. And at the moment, what you're seeing on the screen here is the captions at the bottom of the screen. If you're a TikTok user or Reels user, you'll know that the captions generally get moved around the screen as people see fit. And I think there's like the Hormozy style where you've got the captions with different colors and the little emojis that appear. So there's a whole bunch of fun that we can have with these captions now that make it a real part of the video, as well as not just auto-generated. So that's 6 pieces of content, right? We're on 6 pieces of content. So 3 portrait, square, and landscape, and 3 portrait, square, and landscape with captions, as I mentioned there. Wicked. I'll just... Okay, totally forgot this was a video and it had sound associated with it. Right, snippet videos. So this snippet videos, believe it or not, these snippet videos are going to account for 18 different videos that we've got. Oh, sugar. Sorry, I forgot about the sound again, even though I've just done it. So snippet videos, what is a snippet video? From my perspective as a content creator, a snippet video is a short teaser of a long form piece of content. So in that previous thumbnail that you saw about Restream, about the beginner's guide to Restream, what I've done is I've taken that, I think it was about a 20-minute video, and I've taken it and created 3 1-minute videos from that video. And in the 3 that you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm walking through the Restream interface. So they're different pieces of the video. They've got different titles. They've got captions at the bottom as well. So if you take those snippet videos and you think of them as PSL, right? For 3 1-minute videos, PSL, that's 9 pieces of content. And then if you add captions to those, you burn in those captions, that's 18 pieces of content, right? Now, the great thing about it, I use a piece of software called Descript to create all of these bits of content. It might seem really strange to create all of these different bits of content. It might feel like it's going to take a long time, but you can template all this stuff up. So I can say that I want a square video with a title like you can see on the screen, and with the captions and the position at the bottom of the screen, with the logo that I've got in the bottom right. I can create that template. And when I do this in Descript, it takes minutes to do this. It's very, very quick, very, very simple. No messing about. So Amit said, how can I create reels showcasing my technical courses, including my face? Right. That's a question we'll take at the end, Robert, if we can
Yep, I've got that copied for later. Yep.
Wicked, thank you. So the main video will be landscape format and then the edit in the other format. Yes, Amit. So a lot of the software that we get where we take the long form piece of content and turn it into square or portrait, almost all editors have that functionality. I've not seen an editor where that doesn't have it. So I've used things like CapCut. I've used things like Premiere Pro, Premiere Rush, InShot, all of these different types of software, Descript as an example as well. And what you do is you take that landscape and you can just change the rotation of it or change the format of it. And it's just a simple, quick thing to do, and it will change that format for you. And that's okay. There's still a bit of fiddling that you have to do with that in terms of the editing. Whereas if you create these templates that you can create in Descript, for example, you don't need to do that anymore. It actually remembers where the crop is. It remembers where all your text is going to be, where your captions are going to be. So once you've done it once, it probably takes you longer than the 2 hours. If you saw the intro, it said 2 hours, but probably take you longer the first time. Once you do it the next time, it'll be really, really quick. All right. So, and what I recommend to a lot of business owners and people that are getting into this stuff is do it all yourself the first time, set all of the templates up, and then give it to a VA to do, because it's so simple to be able to do that once it's set up properly. So that's snippet videos, as I mentioned, portrait, square, and landscape, and with captions. I did want to call out a little bit of AI. So you'll notice in Big View, there's a whole bunch of AI features that are coming now. Really, really useful ones, from things to coming up with content ideas and scripts and that kind of thing. One of the great tools that I've spotted that have come out of AI is Opus Clip. What Opus Clip will do is it will take your long form piece of content and it will find those 1-minute clips for you. So in the previous version and before this software existed, I would have had to find the 1-minute clips and I would have to mark them that they're the 1 minutes that I want to use. But with this AI tool, it will go and find those clips. It will use AI to understand what the text is in them, and it will give you a virality score. So if you look at this example on screen now, it gives this particular clip a 99 out of 100. So it's saying, based on what I know about social media, if you post this video, it's got a 99% chance of going viral. I mean, let's be fair. It's 99% versus the other content in the system. So it's not a guarantee that it's going to go viral, but it's the best piece of content it's found in your long form piece of content, right? And you do this, you drop your long form piece of content. It gives you 10 videos as an output. You can change things like captions and all of that kind of good stuff that you'd expect in these softwares. And I would say probably 3 of them are useful. So, I mentioned before that if you do a 15-minute video, you could probably get 3 good snippet videos out of it. The longer they are, the more you can get. If anyone's seen things like Diary of a CEO, they're like an hour long, an hour and a half long episodes. Diary of a CEO, they get like 50 snippet videos out of them. And then, of course, they could PSL them as well. So that's why you see so many of those clips on the socials. Thank you. Portrait, square, and landscape. That's what we're talking about. So it really just depends. But that's why I talk about it from a 47 plus point of view, because I say 15 minutes, roughly 3 good usable snippets, and then away you go. The other thing to think about this from a promotion point of view, although we're talking about content repurposing in this session, when you're promoting this stuff, if you get these small 1-minute clips, what you can do in YouTube, for example, in YouTube Shorts, is you can link to the long form piece of content. It only came around about a year ago. It used to be that you would just post the clips and you had no way to link the two. But in YouTube Shorts now, you can say, I've got this 1-minute clip. It comes from this long form piece of content, and you just link the two up. Really, really useful feature for getting some more promo as well. Okay, so this is image quotes, and we used to have a company called Repurpose Lab, and we created these like branded graphics, which is why you can see them all in my branding. Probably wouldn't do it like this so much anymore. But whilst you're going through the content and you're finding these golden minutes of content, there will be bits of content in there where you can find a great quote that you can use for the socials as well. If you look in the top left-hand side, sometimes I'm just using the quotes to tell people that I've got a new YouTube video. So I might post this on a story because it's a portrait image. I might take the square versions and post them on X or Twitter. I still can't stop calling it Twitter. I might use the landscape versions and use them on Facebook. So image quotes are a great way. If you've got branded photos like I've got there, you can see with my little king, my crown on my shirt. So the branded graphics, they go really well. It's good to have faces on these image quotes as well. One thing talking about Twitter, one thing I really liked, and I've seen a lot of people doing now, is they'll take the quote. So you might just take the text of the quote, they'll create a tweet, and then they'll take a screenshot of the tweet and post that out there. If you use things like Canva, you can do that in there without having to post the tweet as well. So it looks like a tweet, but you can just use it as an image. So this is just another way in which you're taking that one piece of content, you ask your VA to go through it, you say, pick me some image quotes out of there, and then you can start posting them on the socials. And there's 9 of them there. So we pick 3 quotes, we times them by the PSL, and away we go. Not sure what that means, Des. Where is the workbook to go with this class? The QR code is where you'll get the workbook. So everything that I'm talking about is listed in the QR in the book that's associated with it. There's also a checklist at the end of the PDF as well that you can grab. Oh, this is one of my favorites, carousels. Who doesn't love a carousel, right? Let me know in the comments if you've seen a carousel, and if you can let me know in the comments where you've seen the carousel, because I believe LinkedIn doesn't allow you to do PDFs anymore, even though I've got it on this slide. I need to check it out. But let me know where you see the carousels. I've seen them on Instagram. I see them on stories. Carousels are one of those pieces of content that you can take. Imagine those 1-minute snippets that I've taken. You can't fit that 1-minute snippet as a image quote. You know, there's so much you can say in 1 minute that it just wouldn't fit. So what you could do is take all of the contents, the actual words that you say, and put them into a carousel just like this. And the great thing about a carousel, I've split this carousel up a little bit. This is when my wife designs these carousels for us. But you can see how they kind of feel like they're one long image, but they're actually made up of 10 smaller square images. So I've put carousel as 3 pieces of content because I think with 3 snippets, you could create 3 carousels and then you could reuse them. Maybe I'm being generous on calling that 3 pieces of content, but I really think carousels are a good way to keep people's attention. And I want to point out now at this point, right, we're talking about video, one signature video, but notice we've talked about image quotes, we've talked about graphics, we talked about carousels. Like all of these things give us like a real wide variety of content that we're creating. We're not just repurposing video content. We're doing a lot of other things as well in here. Let me know in the comments what your favorite piece of content is that we're talking about so far. Virtual Support's there saying carousels work really well on LinkedIn. Good. So they are still good on LinkedIn. Now, I did want to come back to the thumbnail. There's a few reasons why the thumbnail is important, and it's another piece of content that shouldn't be missed. Yes, of course, when we're putting these things on YouTube, we're going to create a thumbnail. And I just want you to know that you can reuse this thumbnail for a featured image on a blog post. I'm going to talk about blog posts in a second, but that's another reuse of this one piece of content. We could also use this thumbnail to put it on Pinterest. We can go and promote it on Facebook. We could use it as like a featured image on Facebook. You know, we know that Facebook doesn't, a lot of the socials don't like external links. So you could use these thumbnails to grab the attention, write the copy in there to tell people what the video is about, and then drop the link in the comments, right? Works really well using this thumbnail as an example. So here we go with a blog post. I've talked about Descriptors, the software that I tend to do a lot of this repurposing in. The blog post is a great example of this. So one of the first things we'll do is get a transcription. Again, I'm going to talk about that in a second. And we'll take the transcription from the video and we can export it in Descript to a Word document. So that means that we can take that Word document and create a blog post out of it. Now, my VA, when she does this, she will take the YouTube video that I've created. She will embed that in the blog post. So we've got the written form of that video as well. You can see that she's added headings along this blog post. She's added a few screenshots from it as well. So we're really maximizing the use of that one video. So now you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm creating these signature videos, this one video per week. So I've got 52 of them on my YouTube channel. I've got 52 blog posts to accompany those as well now. And I'm getting the SEO juice from all of that stuff. So this is not just about being relentless on the socials. It's not just about promoting ourselves across the socials. It's actually about creating a long-term strategy for our content that will bring people closer to us. Okay. And you know, some people just don't want to watch videos. Some people much prefer to read an article. If I ask you guys who are watching, do you prefer to watch videos or read articles? Probably you guys watching as you're watching a video right now. Will say videos, but there's still plenty of people that say, you know, I don't want to spend 30 minutes watching a video. I'm a speed reader. I want to just read through this stuff. I hate reading. I'd much prefer to watch a video or listen to the audio. I talk about the transcription as being one of the pieces of content, really, and it's because everything really starts from the transcription. So the way it works for us is we take the long form piece of content, we drop it into Descript, and then we clean up the transcription. If anybody has ever looked at a AI generated transcription, there's certain things that AI doesn't like me saying. I've got a working class Englishman's accent, and there's certain words that I say that AI just doesn't understand me at all. So we have to go through that transcription and just clean it up. And when we clean it up, we end up with a really nice, well-written transcript, which we then export to the Word document. Then we know when we create the snippet videos, the subtitles are going to be correct. You know, there's nothing worse than watching a subtitle or captions and seeing something bad being said in the captions. So using this transcript, cleaning it up is really, really important. If you do a podcast, this is a screenshot from the script, and you can see how there's four different people talking in this. So another great feature is it kind of picks up on the speakers that are in there. Believe it or not, this is not a Descript session, but it's just one piece of software I happen to use for a lot of this stuff. There you go. Felice is saying you like to read more. There you go. Jenny as well. Look, definitely like I'd rather read. Yeah, and I mean, you know, it's definitely down to the person. And you know, when I think about this, a lot of people say to me, "Oh, Matt, of course you're going to recommend video because you're the king of video. You want people to create more video." But I totally appreciate learning styles. When you learn to teach, you learn about different learning styles. Some people like doing, they're very practical people. Some people like listening. Some people like watching. Some people like reading. So if you can give people the maximum ways of listening or reading or doing this stuff, then you're likely to reach the most amount of people, which leads me really well to the podcast. So I'd love to know if any of you have got a podcast. Let us know. Use this as an opportunity, by all means, to promote your little podcast. I think we're never against any promotion of podcasts and that kind of thing. I think they're a really great platform. It really hurts me deep inside when I meet somebody and I say, "Have you got a podcast?" They say yes. And I say, "Do you film it?" And they say no. And I'm like, oh my God, you've just missed this opportunity. And a large part of the objection around filming podcasts is, oh my God, I don't want to film my podcast. It means I have to do my makeup, right? I have to get ready, show ready. So I totally understand that. But please understand, if you've got a podcast and you're not filming it, you're just missing out on a huge opportunity on YouTube. They prioritize podcasts. There's got a whole section now for podcasts, and they automatically publish your podcast into Google, whatever it is, whatever Google's version of Spotify is.
Matt, I just came from Podcast Movement today down in the National Harbor, and they said that YouTube podcasts are now about 52% of video podcasts worldwide.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. And you know, the thing is, I didn't realize when we were starting our podcast, we've got one called YouTube Success Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize when we started this, I spoke to my daughter about it because I knew my daughter listened to podcasts more than I do. And I said to her, Poppy, can you just show me how you listen to podcasts? And she would, on her phone, she would listen to the podcast. And then when she was in her bedroom, she would send the podcast to her TV and listen to it. And I was like, why would you send it to a TV? And then she showed me in Spotify, there was a little button you press and it suddenly takes the podcast and makes it the video version comes on the screen. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know this was possible, you know? And so since I learned that, I was like, we have to film our podcasts, you know, we have to get them out there in this way. So again, using something like Descript, you can, when you edit this stuff, you can take your video, your signature video that you've done, you can rip out the audio, the MP3 of the audio, and you can go and use that on a podcast platform. Even when we do courses, we take away the video and we put it out as an audio podcast as well, because some people still want to learn, even though you might be demoing things on the screen, they still want to learn in the audio format. Maybe they'll come back and watch it when they get home. When we're doing the YouTube Success Podcast, I know it's filmed and it's always me, you know, talking to the screen, or I've got someone else on an interview. But I reference the fact on my audio version of that, hey, if you want to see us, come over to my YouTube channel and watch it on YouTube. So I'm giving the audio listeners the knowledge that I've got it as a video podcast as well. It's just, you've got to keep doing this stuff and feeding your audience and telling them where they should go for these things. This is how you get more, a bigger audience, and this is how you get people that actually love what you do. Some questions here. Do you suggest you to use AI generated scripts? I mean, absolutely. I know there's plenty of people that are negative about AI and they're saying, you know, all the content's going to be the same. You could take somebody, if you watch one of my videos and you took the exact script of what I'd said on that video and you went and said it word for word, it would look and feel different to my video. I'm not suggesting you do that, by the way. It would look and feel different to my video because it's you saying it, right? So you can absolutely take AI generated scripts. I would suggest you put in your own tone and your voice inside of that script. If you look at how Big View does this, you can go and edit that script afterwards. So there's an opportunity there to it's really fast track the video creation process. You know, I said right at the start when we talked about the signature video, the thing that stops people is they don't know what to talk about. So why not use the tools that are available to us? Other people are doing this, so we should do it as well. I have to call out Squadcast as well. So Descript bought Squadcast. I was really happy about this. A lot of people will know Riverside. If you're doing podcasts, Riverside is one of the most popular versions of an online platform where you can do this stuff. And it does a lot of the repurposing stuff now that I've talked about. I liked Squadcast because it became part of my subscription. And I also, we don't talk about it a lot in this presentation, but I talk about workflow. I'm a really lazy videographer and a lazy editor. I want things to be quick and easy. So the reason why I'm calling out Squadcast in this case, and I'm sure Riverside does the same as well, is when you do interviews, you can take, once you've finished it, you can send it to Descript, right? Or you can send it to other software that you might want to use. And this means that the workflow is simple. Even before we started doing all this repurposing stuff, we replaced 5 different pieces of software with one at the time when we were using Descript. We use maybe 3 pieces of software now, but we used to use like 8 or 9. Oh my God. Okay. I think we did podcast a good justice then. Right, this is audiograms. I would say I kind of fall in love and fall out of love with audiograms. I will say the ones I'm showing you on the screen now, if I just play one of them for a second, you'll see the waveform at the top moving. Or you wanted to show a pre-record. Okay, that's enough of that. So you can see what happens with this audiogram. I don't know where the word audiogram came from, but it's basically a video version of your podcast. So if you're got a podcast and you're like, oh Matt, I really like the idea that I should have done a video podcast, but I've got 200 episodes where I've only got audio, then you can use audiograms to use the content and create videos out of them. We actually had a client that came to us. We used to do done for you services with this stuff. We don't do it anymore. But she had something like 48 audio only podcasts, and we took those 48. We created this audiogram version. There's loads of different ways you can do this. You can put like your guest face in the middle with this like nice round circular audio, the waveform thing that happens, and it bounces when they talk. And it creates a video version of the podcast and then we can upload that to YouTube, right? So even if you've missed the opportunity because you've only got an audio version, it's not the end of the world. And also remember what I said before. If there's people that watch this stuff where the sound is off and you still want to reach them, this is a good way to do that. Sometimes you can do this in stories as well. You know, maybe do a landscape version of this that... did I say landscape? Portrait version of this that you put in stories with the audio on it as well. The reason why I kind of fell out of love with them, this counts for 9 different pieces of content, by the way, because we do the 3 snippets and we do them PSL. The reason I fell out of love with them is because we use video, the full version. I'd rather see someone talking about the stuff, but I just want you to point out that audiogram is there and you can do that. There you go. Big View is saying you can create AI audiogram on Big View. You could even clone your own voice. Now, so what they're saying there, I think that's Bruno doing those comments. What Bruno's saying there is that you can do faceless stuff as well. So you can use B-roll in there. You can generate this stuff. You can generate a version of your own voice. So when I practiced this presentation earlier, you can see me on the screen. Look, I'm live. I'm waving at you. But when I practiced this earlier and I recorded it for my own, we've got like a private community that I wanted to give it to as well, this presentation. I just did it without my face. You know, I said hello at the start and then I turned my face off and it was just the presentation. So imagine you're creating courses. You could get Big View to clone your own voice, use the AI generated scripts, and you don't even have to show up to deliver those things anymore. Right, so I could have done this whole presentation with an AI generated script and I could have just let it do its thing. Absolutely beautiful way of creating content. Don't think people are not doing this. They absolutely are. A lot of the voices you're hearing on socials now are AI generated voices as well. Okay, so let's just summarize these pieces of content then, just to kind of level off where we are. So we've got the signature video PSL, which is 3 pieces of content. We've got signature video, PSL, and captions, so that's up to 6. We've got snippet videos, 1, 2, 3, and PSL. So we're now on 24. We've got image quotes, 1, 2, 3, PSL. So we're now on 33. My maths is not going well so far. 33. Image carousels, another 3. That's 36. Thumbnail, blog post, transcription, podcast, audiogram, 1, 2, 3, PSL. That takes us to 47. Right, and as I mentioned, it's 47 plus because you might get more snippet videos out of your content as well. We talked about the offer. So this is what's available to you. The QR code has been there throughout. You grab this QR code. It takes you to contentrepursing.school.co.uk. You can grab the guide. It gives you a little breakdown of each of the pieces of the content that we talk about. For 48 hours only, just like we did at the last Big View talk that I did, we've got 80% discount off Content Repurposing School, where I teach you how to do all of these pieces of content step by step, right? So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh my God, this sounds super technical, I don't know how I'm going to be able to create all of these things, don't worry, I'll show you exactly how to do this step by step. So it's a really great, simple thing, and it's probably about 90 minutes of content. So once you've gone through that, what I recommend is you give it to your VA and let your VA go away and create this content for you. Outside of that, thanks so much for your time and attention, guys. We've got some time for Q&A, and I think we can pass it back over to Robert.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. This has been super valuable. So let's jump into some of the questions that we did not get to. So I think we had a question that said, how can I engage my subscribers to watch my technical course video, which is a duration of 30 minutes?
Okay, how can you engage?
Yeah.
For me, there's a couple of different things. Robert is a master of this, right, Robert? So you saw what Robert did right at the start of this presentation. He said hello to the people that have come along. He called them out. He pulled them on screen, right? If you're live, you can do that. If you're not live, maybe not so much. But you can put certain things within your videos that will give your viewers an opportunity to engage with you. So it might be that I've seen a strategy where one guy, he put a video out, and on the next video, he would always share a screenshot of the person that commented first on the previous video. Oh, hey to Robert, he commented first. Congratulations, you win first comment. I've seen other things that people do, like you can go through your technical presentations and you can ask questions of your audience. Don't think just because they're watching a pre-recorded video that they won't go and leave a message in the comment. So one strategy I get my YouTube mentees to do is to come up with every video that you create, come up with a pinned question that you're going to ask your audience. So then what you do is you ask the question in the video. So if it's something technical, it's like, let me know if you've used this technical thing in the past and how you got on with it. Let me know in the comments. So then when you post a video, you'd add that comment to there with the question and you pin it to the top of the YouTube comments. And it just gives people a way to interact with you then. The more you do that, the more consistently you do that, the more likely it is that your audience is going to start engaging with you, not just there, but on the platform as well.
Love it. So this next question is we're going to go pretty deep here. It feels like it says, any tips for posting controversial content? I teach objective morality and esoteric wisdom.
I don't even know what that is. Right. Any tips for posting controversial content? Yeah. So a guy that I know called Austin Armstrong, if you Big View guys have not had Austin on here, you should definitely get him on. Austin is, I would say, the king of short form content. He does this really, really well. And what he does is he puts controversial stuff within his videos. They're like Easter eggs. If anyone does gaming and they know what Easter eggs are, they're like little nuggets where if you spot them, it's like you get like a joy, a dopamine hit from finding the Easter egg. So for example, he'll share his screen and he'll have like some controversial folder on his Chrome browser with someone in the press at the moment. So as we, there's a lot of political stuff. He might have something about Trump in his folder. It might be like Trump's last trip abroad or something like that. There's worse things than that, but I can't say them on this. So I'm not going to do that. But so little Easter eggs are really good. Again, in terms of engagement, people will engage with you for that stuff. And just, I think controversial content does well anyway, because it's usually asking people to get off the fence. You've got an opinion one way or another. I hope that helps in terms of posting content. It's such a big topic. It's hard to really understand what you're looking for there.
That's huge. Yeah. So let me see if there's any questions on Instagram. So we didn't talk about Instagram earlier, but we're on several different platforms today. We're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube, I believe we're on Facebook somewhere. Yep. And I think this is the first or second time that we're on Instagram live as well. So just Ecom Factors and let me see who else. Quite a few others that are on Instagram as well. I am Vincent Kusain. Okay. So glad that you're here. All right. So yeah, I think we've answered the questions that were on Instagram. We answered them in session today. All right. So let me see if there are any other questions. I know you walked through the AI generated script, and I think you answered the one about lazy video editing. Did you answer that one? Please suggest something that does a quick job for video editing. I know
So
we've been
quick.
talking about Descript that can help with
Yeah.
quite
So
a few of
Descript
quite a
is
bit of
one of
that.
my favorites. CapCut is another. You know, I really CapCut felt like one of those things that I didn't want to get into because it's owned by TikTok, and I was resisted for so long. But since I've signed up for CapCut Pro, I really like that. We've got a program called Video Editing School where I used to teach in Camtasia and InShot, and we're redoing Video Editing School with CapCut because I just think it's so valuable and so quick to get done. Of course, you know, the purists of video editing will say go and learn Premiere Pro, but the learning curve is so huge compared to something like CapCut, which feels a little bit like iMovie and Movie Maker and those kind of things, where you can just drop your video in there and just chop it up nice and easy with no real effort. So, but the best tip for video editing, by the way, more than anything else, is to outsource it to somebody else. That's the quickest way.
So I'm glad you said that, because I think when people talk about video editing and all of the different parts of this process, you can go down a rabbit hole, right? And I think the point of today is to work smarter and not harder. We don't want you to be a Premiere or Final Cut wizard and be spending 7 hours a day trying to edit a 5-minute video with B-roll and everything that comes with it. The very platform that we're on, BigView, listen, if you get a video broken apart, let's say that you use Opus Clip, that was mentioned before, and Opus Clip breaks out its 60-second video, then you can process it through BigView, and BigView does some AI zooms and editing and adds the captions and some different things for you. So I would say if you're not at the place yet where you are outsourcing your editing, then utilize the tools that you have at your disposal, like BigView, to make the process simpler, easier. The point is, be omnipresent, get the content out, be in front of people as much as possible instead of spending all the time sitting behind your desk editing a 5-minute video. And then when you could have had 50 pieces of content out there already. So I don't know if you have anything additional to add to that, Matt.
Well, I mean, just if you think about it from my workflow point of view, I mentioned workflow throughout the presentation, but like I really only create a long form piece of content now. I don't do any of the editing. I don't do any of the repurposing. I literally create that video, drop it into my team folder, and my team go and do the rest. Like that's the beautiful thing that you can do in the end, and that is working smarter. I'm not saying that I don't know how to do some of those things. I definitely encourage people to learn the steps that you need to take. But really, if you want to get further and faster, then you would outsource it to a professional. And honestly, when you give editing to a professional, you see beautiful editing, and you regret ever editing yourself because they're professionals.
Love it. So share with us again I know you had the QR code, and I saw that there were some people, I think virtual support, already checked out your giveaway and signed up. Ooh, just bought Content Repurposing School. Great stuff. Virtual support. Okay. But if you want to get the free training and checklist, or the free guide and checklist, make sure that you hit that QR code and get that download from Matt and his team.
That's it. It's all there for you.
Excellent. All right. Well, listen, everybody, this has been a phenomenal episode of BigView, or from BigView. If you want to hit the replay, make sure that you get into the comments on YouTube, and just so that we know whether you came live or you watched on the replay, type replay in your comments, and we will give you maybe some extra credit for that. All right. But we're so glad you have been here. This has been an awesome session. Thank you so much for joining us on LinkedIn. Thank you, Matt, for being here. Thank you for joining us on Instagram. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. And the whole point today is that you can dominate your market with less effort than you realize. You can show up in so many places, but faster and easier. The world is your oyster, and you can use tools like BigView to make life so much more convenient, so that you can go out there and not spend the time behind your desk editing, but you can transform the world with your voice and your content. This has been another phenomenal big view session for me. I'm Robert Kennedy III, RK3. Head on over to get in touch with RK3 to touch bases with me, and then make sure that you touch bases with Matt, the king of video, over on his platform as well. All right, everybody. We'll see you for the next session. Bye.
Bye.
Joining me on the session. I'm so pumped that we were connected, and I hope you found real value in what was shared. Do me a favor. I want to continue the journey with you.
Head on over to getintouchwithrk3.com. That's right, getintouchwithrk3.com.
On that page, you'll find all of the different places on the interwebs that you can get connected with me. And there are also some great resources for you to download. Download them because they're designed to help you become better presenters, better communicators, and video storytellers. And that's what we need more of in this world, right? Listen,
Get connected. Go to getintouchwithrk3.com.
I'm RK3, and I hope to see you in my inbox real soon.
Videos you're proud of. Easily trim your video by selecting the words where you want to start and end. Color your presentation with automatic subtitles and highlighting keywords. Add your brand logo. Add music for an emotional touch. Add your contact info on an animated business card on all your videos. Easily replace green screen with an image or a video loop. Stand out with a web page with your logo, your video at the center, and personalized button for visitors to interact. It's one tap to simultaneously upload your videos on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.